So I've made a model-driven app for grant management system for the pre-award phase. Usually the grant management process would involve the pre-award phase, award phase, and the post-award phase, where approved proposals would be converted into projects, but that would be a very big and elaborate app. So here I have created an app for the pre-award phase of the grant management system. I did my elaborate research on the grant management systems and processes from various online sources, and based on my research and understanding of the process, I have built this app. There were certain aspects of the process which were not clear to me, so for those aspects, I have developed my own methods and procedures for the sake of this app. For example, the review and approval process was not described clearly, so I have come up with my own review and approval process. Now to talk about the characteristics of this app. So it's going to be a model-driven app, as I had mentioned earlier. It's going to cover just the pre-award phase of the grant management process, and I've incorporated all the constituents of the Power Platform, that is the Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. I've created my dashboard in Power BI and embedded it in my grant management app. And last but not the least, I've created a portal or Power Page which ties with my app. Okay, so let's talk about our pre-award phase a bit and see how our model-driven app has been designed. So this phase mainly includes the following steps in the pre-award phase, or the following entities, that is tables. So our first step or entity is the federal budget details. It consists of details regarding the federal budget available to the grant-making organization for a particular fiscal year, which would then be distributed among the various grant programs. The next is our grant programs entity, which will contain records of the various grant programs for which the grant applicants will submit their proposals. Then we have grant applications, which handles the grant application submission process by filling the application form and submitting the required documents. The next is the review and screening process. As I mentioned previously, the review and screening process was not described clearly, so I have come up with my own method and procedure for the review and screening process. First, the applicants will be reviewed by multiple reviewers, that is internal, external, and subject matter reviewers, and each reviewer will give their score to the application based on their review. And then we have the approval committee comprising of various designatories like directors, etc., who will give their approval decisions. Then based on the sum total of the review scores and the approval committee's collective decision, finally an application is either approved or rejected. Last, we have the approved applicants. That is, a list of all the applicants approved for the award will then be consolidated. So this is a pre-award phase. So to build this app, I have used various out-of-the-box building tools of Power Apps like business process flow, business rules, calculated fields and roll-up fields, workflows, subgrids, editable grids, quick view forms, form component control, and dashboards. Apart from the out-of-the-box tools, I have also used basic JavaScript in places where the out-of-the-box tools of Power Apps is not adequate. Then, auditing has been turned on for the app at an organizational level and entity and field level, so any change that we make in the app will be logged in. Then, I have integrated my Outlook email system with my grant management app, so I can view all emails associated with a particular record, like contact, account, program, or application in the record timeline. For this, I have synchronized my Outlook with my app with server-side synchronization and enabled Exchange folder tracking. Not only my emails, but all other activities relating to a particular record, like tasks, appointments, meetings, phone calls, etc., has been linked between the app and Outlook, so I can see these details both in my app and my Outlook email system. So I can see the various tasks and activities related to a particular record next to my Outlook email messages or appointments, and the same tasks and activities will show up in my record timeline as well. I can also directly send emails from my app, and these emails will show up in my Outlook send items as well. Similarly, the emails I receive on Outlook will also show up directly in my app. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check out our grant management system app. So this is my model-driven app for grant management system. So my navigation here consists of 4 main areas. That is the dashboards, accounts and contacts, the pre-award phase, and business process flow. So this pre-award phase is going to be the main area where most of the creations and updates are going to be done. So anyways, let's look into all of them one by one. First, we'll start with the pre-award phase. Since it is the main area, we click on pre-award phase. I have various sub-areas like the federal budget, which consists of my entity federal budget details. Then we have the next sub-area grant programs, which consists of my grant programs entity. Then grant applications with the grant applications entity. Then I have the review and screening process, which consists of 2 entities, that is the reviews and approval committee and approvals. And then my last sub-area is approved applicants, which will contain records of all the applicants approved for the award. So let's start with the first area, that is the federal budget details. Federal budget details consists of just 1 record per year, and the name of the record will be the year name. So here as an example, we have a record titled 2022. So the title of the record is in the header, that is fiscal year. So the federal budget form has 2 tabs, budget details and budget activities. Under the first tab, budget details, we can see the field total budget for all programs. So the budget amount is distributed among all the grant programs. So there is a one-to-many relationship between the federal budget details entity and grant programs. So as we can see in this example, the total budget for all the programs is $25 million. So in our example, I have just created 3 programs. So the total programs field is showing the value of 3. Then we have few textual fields that relate to specific information regarding the budget, funds, cash, and other resources. Then we have other total fields, that is fields that mostly show the collective information regarding the budget that has been distributed between the various programs. Most of these fields are basically roll-up fields that calculates the count or sum of values in the corresponding field in the grant program entity. Then last but not the least, we have the field Federal Budget Drawdown, which is a calculated field which shows the difference between the total budget and the funds already paid to show the remaining budget. Okay, so moving on to our next tab, Budget Activities. So here we have a subgrid of all the grant programs, and the view shows the brief details for each program. The budget activities is mainly concerned with the various activities happening in each program associated with this federal budget, since the total budget is distributed between these programs. Here we also have a timeline which will also monitor the various activities that takes place in this record. So as you can see from our grants program subgrid, we have 3 programs, that is educational grants, housing grants, and research grants, and the budget for each program is listed alongside, along with the column fiscal year. Then we also have a column showing the total applicants who have applied for each program and the funding category for each program. Okay, now looking at the federal budget view, to get a quick idea about a record, I have included some basic relevant fields like the year, total budget for all the programs, total number of programs between which the budget is distributed, and a couple of other columns like the federal budget drawdown, total funds allocated, total funds awarded, and total funds allocated but not awarded. So now going up the pyramid, our next entity is grant programs. So here, as of now, I have 3 programs, and my view shows few basic columns like program name, program budget, fiscal year, which is a lookup to the federal budget details entity, then total applicants. So total applicants is basically a roll-up field which will calculate all the applications received for a particular program. Funding category, and then profit or loss is a roll-up field which calculates the sum of all the similar fields in each project. Okay, so let's check one of these programs, say housing grants. Okay, here in our header, we have 2 fields or columns, that is the program name, that is housing grants, and the program ID. And as you can see, this form consists of multiple tabs, and we'll go through each tab one by one. Okay, so in the first tab, that is basic details, as the title goes, are fields which are mainly related to the basic details of the program, like description, goals and objectives, program outcome text, etc. And most of these fields are textual fields. Then I have 2 date fields, program approval date and posted date. Then I also have a choice field named program status, which has 2 options, open and closed. So the program is still ongoing, the status will show open, and if it's closed, it'll show closed. And I also have the timeline on this tab, which will show the various activities which has taken place in this program. So now moving on to my next tab, that is funding and award details. So here I have 2 sections, funding opportunity details and award and agreement details. And the first section mainly consists of fields which are related to the funding opportunity details, like the funding opportunity title name, funding opportunity number, then funding category, which is a choice field with multiple options, funding basis type code, which is again a choice field. Then I have a couple of more textual and choice fields under this section, which basically describes the nature of the funding opportunity. Then our next section is award and agreement details. So here we have a couple of textual and choice fields which are related to the award and agreement details. So now moving on to our next tab, that is eligibility and application details. So as the name suggests, this tab mainly consists of details relating to the eligibility for the grant and the various application details for submitting the proposal. So under eligibility details, we have a couple of fields which describes the eligibility for the program, like eligibility category, which is a choice field, eligible applicant business type code, eligible applicant business type code characteristics. Then under application details, we have fields which describes the various details related to the submission of applications for this particular grant, like the submission start date, submission end date, electronic address for submission, etc. So now here, under submission start date, so you can choose a start date for the submission of the applications and an end date. Now if you go down in this section, we have a field called grace period in weeks. So this field basically mentions the number of weeks that would be given as a grace period for the applications to be submitted after the submission date has ended. So suppose I enter say 3, and if I save this form, I have a calculated field here called grace period end date, which will be calculated based on my submission end date field and the amount I have entered in this field for grace period. So this field grace period end date is calculated as 3 weeks from my submission end date, which comes to 17th of August. Since each program will have multiple applications that will be submitted, we have a total field here, that is number of applications, which calculates the total number of applications that each program has received. So moving on to our next tab, which is review and selection process. So as the name suggests, this tab will contain fields that describes the review and selection process, like the review selection process description, reviewer selection process description, external reviewer review process description, etc. Next, we have a subgrid for a list of all the reviewers who would be reviewing the applications in this program. And this subgrid basically shows all the reviewers from our contact entity. And I've included a couple of basic columns here, like the full name, reviewer type. So we have three types of reviewers: internal reviewers, external reviewers, and subject matter reviewers. Then we have the designation of each reviewer, the department that they belong to, and review role details. Okay, now moving on to our next tab, that is budget and award management. Okay, so this tab mainly consists of roll-up fields. It's similar to what we have already seen in our federal budget details, because this tab basically shows the information about all the applications and projects that come under each program. So the first field is the program budget, which shows the total budget of this program. Then we have the roll-up field, total number of grantees, which calculates the total number of grantees in this program. Then total funds requested is again a roll-up field, which shows the sum of all the funds requested by all the projects. Then we have the roll-up field, total funds approved, which shows the sum of the funds approved for all the approved applicants. Then we have textual fields like direct funding details, leverage resource details, etc. Then again, we have a couple of other roll-up fields like total funds allocated, total funds awarded, total funds allocated but not awarded. So our next tab is financial details. And as the name suggests, we have sections related to the financial details of each program, like cost sharing details. So here we have like a couple of yes or no choice fields like cost sharing requirement, cash match, in-kind match, etc. So if you choose yes for the cost sharing requirement field, another field appears which was hidden called cost sharing description text. Similarly, if we choose yes for cash match, we can see that an additional field has appeared, that is cash match details. Then we have a choice field, cost share match status code. Then we have sections like indirect cost rate details with textual fields related to the details regarding the indirect cost rate. Then program risk details, which has fields which details the risk that this particular program carries. Moving on to the next tab, that is performance measure. So here we have a field called program performance measure text, which will give a brief description regarding the program's performance measure. Then we have a subgrid for specific measures, goals, and objectives for this program. And we have three simple columns: performance measure, identifier, number or label, specific measure, goals, objectives, and specific measure baseline measurement text. Then our next tab is the personal team. So here we have a lookup for the field program officer, which is a lookup to the contacts entity. So if you choose a name, say Alex Baker, a quick view form that gives additional information regarding the contacts selected here will appear. Then we have a subgrid for the personal team, that is the various employees and personnel who would be involved in the management of this particular grant program. So it's a subgrid that shows a list of the various contacts from the contact entity who would be involved in this grant program. So moving on to our next tab is applications and proposals. So as I had mentioned earlier, each program will receive multiple applications from various organizations that would like to apply for the grants. And this tab shows few basic details regarding those proposals. So we have a field, total applicants, which is a roll-up field that will calculate the number of applications that this particular program has received. Then we have a subgrid for grant applications, which will show a list of all the applications that this particular program has received. So the subgrid's view consists of certain basic columns like proposal name, project description, organization name, funds requested, submission date, review status, that is if the application is yet to be reviewed, if it is under review, or if it has been reviewed. Then finally we have the approval status, which shows if this application has been approved for the grant or rejected. Okay, moving on to our next tab, that is reporting. So this tab mainly contains information regarding the reporting process of projects that have been approved and are undertaken under this grant. It is mainly concerned with the post-award phase, but I have just included it in the grant program form as it would be required later on. So now moving on to our last tab, that is approved applicants. So this tab basically shows a subgrid of all the applicants who have been approved for the grant under this program. So as of now, we have 2 applicants who have been approved. And for this view, we have columns like the proposal name, project details, grantee organization, program name, the amount requested, the amount approved, and the approval date. So as you can see, the applicant must have requested for a certain amount, but once the application has been approved, it's the grant making organization that decides whether they want to approve the whole amount or a part of it. So in these 2 cases, you can see that the amount approved is much lower than the amount requested by the applicant. So now this subgrid is related to the entity applicants approved for the award, which we'll talk about in detail later. So our next area is grant applications, and this is our main entity, that is grant applications, and our business process flow is associated with this entity. So my grant applications, all applications page will show all the applications that I've received for all the programs. And here we can see the view of active grant applications with few basic columns like proposal name, project description, program name, organization name, funds requested, and submission date. Now let's check one of the records. So this is the main form that the applicants will fill in to submit their proposals for whichever grant program they want to apply for. So as you can see, this form has multiple tabs. So let's go over them one by one. So the header consists of just one field, that is a proposal name. Our first tab is application and submission details. As the name suggests, this tab contains fields which are related to the application and submission of the grant application, like application type, which is a choice field with multiple options, then submission type code, can be initial application, pre-application or revised application, then submission date, which is a date field, then required documents description, document submission status, document submission details, and a yes or no choice field called application submission complete. And this option would be turned to yes if all the tabs, sections and fields of this application form has been completed by the applicant. Then we have a timeline too here, which records all the activities pertaining to this record. Okay, so our next tab is organization and business details. Here we have a lookup for the organization name that has a record in our accounts entity, and whichever name we choose here, few quick view forms will automatically appear that shows specific details pertaining to that organization. So suppose I select ABCL here, you can see that few quick view forms have automatically appeared. Quick view forms showing recipient and business details, contact details and address details have appeared. So whatever details I have filled in this organization's account record, all those details will automatically appear in the quick view form. Okay, so moving on to our next tab, programs, funding and award details. We can see that here too, we have a lookup field called program name, which is a lookup to our grant program entity. And like our organization and business details tab, the moment we choose a program name from the lookup, automatically a quick view form appears that shows the specific details pertaining to that particular program. Then we have certification details. Here we have two textual fields, policy requirement certification text and certification official contact information, and one choice field that is public policy certification type code. From the options, if we choose other, an additional field appears, that is if other, please specify. Then moving on to our next tab, project details. Now this tab consists of fields that will provide details regarding the project for which this proposal is submitted. So we have few textual fields like project description, main goals, expected outcome, goal technical approach description, project milestone text, and project site address. Then we have two date fields, that is estimated start date and estimated end date. Then we have two lookup fields to the contacts table, that is project manager and project administrator. So we can select a person from our contacts table. Then we have financial details. So here we have a couple of sections. The first being basic details, and here we have fields like funds requested, fund request justification text, delinquent debt explanation text, and cost sharing details. Then we have cost allocation plan. Then we have a section on indirect cost rate with fields like indirect cost rate type category, which is a choice field with multiple options. Then we have indirect cost rate type code, which is again a choice field with multiple options. Then indirect cost rate status code, which is also a choice field. Then we have the textual field, indirect cost related risk information. Then next we have a section called cost proposal, which starts off with a textual field asking for the details regarding the cost proposal. Then we have a file data type field, upload cost proposal, where the applicant can upload their cost proposal. Like if I click on choose file, and if I choose cost proposal, so my cost proposal document has been uploaded here. Alternatively, if not by uploading the cost proposal file, we have a subgrid to enter the various cost items directly through this application. Okay, so if I click on new cost item, it takes me to a simple basic form that I can fill in for each of my cost items. Like for example, suppose I enter say machinery, item amount say $30,000. Under cost category, I can choose an option that is equipment. Then cost type is a choice field with just two options, that is direct cost or indirect cost. In this case, I'm going to click on direct. So when I click on direct, an additional field appears that is direct cost item type code. Similarly, if I click on indirect, a similar textual field appears for my indirect cost type too. So I'll just change this back to direct because machinery is a direct expense. So I just filled in a few basic details for this cost item that is machinery. So I'll save and I'll go back to my cost proposal subgrid. And here you can see that the cost item that I just created has appeared in my cost item subgrid view. So if I want, I can click on this record and make changes if I want to. The subgrids view shows all the basic cost item information clearly at one glance, that you don't really have to open each record to check these details, because these would be the basic details that you would want to know about. So next we have the personal details tab. Here we have details regarding the personnel who are involved in the proposal. So initially we have few details regarding the proposal team with number fields like grant award person role quantity and grant award number of participants trainees quantity. Then we have a subgrid which will show a list of records of all the people who are involved in the proposal team. This subgrid represents our contact entity and has a basic information columns regarding each person. So let's try adding an existing contact to my proposal team, like Avery Howard, add. So here I've added two existing contacts to my proposal team subgrid. So next, we have a section that requires details regarding the senior key person. So here, if I choose a contact, like say maybe Alex Baker, you can see that the designation has automatically appeared here. Then our next tab is past programs. This tab shows details regarding the past proposals and programs that this particular applicant organization has participated in. So first we have the section past performance details. This section contains all textual fields that throws light upon the past performance experiences with this applicant, like general performance details, financial performance details, financial integrity details, single audit findings and corrective action details. That is, if this applicant had a proposal that was approved previously and they had participated in projects during the audit, in case of any concerning findings, if corrective measures were taken appropriately by this applicant to resolve the issues. Then we have suspension, debarment and termination details. Then we have the field risk analysis, which would provide brief information on risk analysis based on the above factors. We will be covering more details regarding the risk analysis in our next tab based on risk analysis. Then below the section, I have a subgrid that shows a list of all this organization's past proposals and projects, that is all the proposals that they had submitted in the past and whether they were approved or rejected. So to get a list of my past grant applications in my current grant application form, I had to create a one-to-many relationship for grant application entity with itself. Here is a snapshot of this relationship. So as per this list, we can see that this organization had submitted multiple proposals previously, out of which 3 of them were approved and projects were undertaken. And this subgrid has taken the view inactive grant applications, since we are talking about the past proposals and projects in this subgrid. So we had to get a list of all the records that had been closed and archived. So moving on to our next tab, risk analysis. Here we have multiple sections, and most of these sections are related to an organization's past performances and experiences with them when they had undertaken projects. The first section, that is risk checks, consists of 4 yes or no choice fields. Then the next is material weakness. Then we have past due corrective actions of applicants. So this section talks about previous audit findings and information regarding the corrective measures that were suggested and how well these corrective actions were undertaken and completed by the applicant. Then lastly, we have the section risk evaluations. Now our next tab is requests and responses. The main purpose of this tab is to record the various requests and responses that might have been exchanged between the applicant and the federal organization, like requests for information from the other party or any other request like extension for submission of application, etc. So here we have 2 subgrids, additional information request subgrid and other requests and responses subgrid. So first we have the additional information request subgrid, and as the name suggests, it's mainly used to request for a particular information. This request can either be from the applicant's side, like some query that they might have regarding the submission of the application, etc. Or it can also be from the grant making organization side, like if they might need extra information from the applicant regarding their proposal, etc. So this subgrid is related to the entity additional information request. So I'm going to add a new additional information request. So we will just fill in a few details first in this quick create form, and we'll fill the remaining details in the main form where I'll explain the other fields as well. So for the time being, I'll just save and close. So now if I click on info and reviews, I can see the whole form. So the header of this form consists of 3 fields, that is the proposal name, which will automatically be updated based on the proposal form that you are in, and then the request title, which we have already filled in now. Then there's another field named request number, which is an auto number field, and this number is generated automatically, and this field is auto-populated. So the additional information request form has 3 tabs, that is request details, response details, and document uploads. So let's start with the request details tab. Here we will enter details relating to the request that was received, and the first field is request type code. So we had not filled this field request type in our quick create form since I wanted to explain it in detail, which I'll do now. It's a choice field, and I have like a variety of options. I have just created a general choice field which I can reuse not only for the pre-award phase, but if I have to extend this app to the post-award phase as well, like request and responses subgrid would be applicable in a couple of other entities as well. Now request by. So you can see this field request by, and I chose applicant. So apart from applicant, I have other options like grantee, awarding agency, funding agency, awarding supply agency, cognizant agency for audit, etc. So the reason why I have other options here, even though it might not be applicable from an applicant's perspective, is because this is a choice or option set that I would be using in multiple places. And once the proposal becomes a project, there'll be a lot of communication moving to and fro between the grantee and other agencies like the funding agency or the cognizant agency for audit, etc. So I've just created one choice field for the same, which includes all the various agencies who would be involved in the grant making process. And requests and responses can be both ways. It can either be from the applicant's or grantee side, whereby they might need some information, or it can also be from the grant making agency side or any other agency that is connected to the grant making process. So here I'm just going to click say grantee. So when I click grantee, an additional field called grantee representative appears, because now there will be various parties from the applicant or the grantee side who will be involved as well, as it's not necessary that the applicant or the grantee should directly communicate with the grant making agency. So the grantee representative field has various options like the applicant, application reviewer, recipient auditor, etc. So if I click on other, another additional field will appear. If other, please specify. Now for the requester name, let me choose someone from the list. Okay, so this is the list of contacts, and supposing I choose Alex Baker. So now there's another field called requester designation, and this field is a calculated field that would show the designation of the contact that has been chosen in the requester name. If I save this form, you'll see that the requested designation field has been updated with the designation of this particular person. So now another thing that you will notice is this request date field has been automatically updated. So now there is a workflow that is tied to this field, which will update this field based on the request title field containing any data. So what will happen is, like, when the request title field contains data, automatically the request date field will be updated with the current date or the date on which this request title field was updated. Now there's another field called request status, which has been defaulted to yet to respond. Request status field is a multi-choice field with options like responded, yet to respond, and no response. So the moment you start a new form, this request status field will show a default value that is yet to respond. Okay. So now you have seen the request details tab. Now let's get on to the response details tab. So now this tab will be updated based on the response that we would receive for the request. So once you receive a response, this tab can be updated based on the response. Like, for example, suppose this particular request has received a response like review process details. Okay. Now the moment I save this form, you will notice that the response date field has automatically been updated. Now this field is tied to the response details field, and the moment this field contains data, automatically this response date field would be updated by the date on which this response details field was updated. Now this response by field is a choice field which is similar to the requested by field that we just saw in the request tab, so I'm not going to explain further. Then again, here also the responder name is a lookup field to the contact records. So now when the response details field is filled in, this response date field is updated. Now along with the response date field, there's another field that is updated in the request details, that is the request status. As I had mentioned earlier, this request status field was defaulted to yet to respond when the record is open, but the moment a response is received, this field will be updated with the value responded. Now here, there is another field called response satisfactory. The response satisfactory field is defaulted to yes. Now if the response is not satisfactory, you will notice that 3 additional fields would appear. That is additional clarification request, additional clarification response, and additional clarification response date. Then my last tab is for document uploads, which is quite self-explanatory. In response to a request, if certain documents need to be uploaded, it can be uploaded using this tab. I had created an entity called document uploads with a simple form, which can be used to upload numerous documents and files. So if I click on the new document upload, you just give some random name like a legal document. And once I save this file, my attachment field would get activated. So basically this field is of a type file, and then I can choose my file. So I've chosen a file, and you'll notice that the upload date field has been automatically updated based on the date on which this attachment field was updated. So if I go back, I can see the record I just created. The next subgrid, there is other requests and responses. It's similar to the additional information request. The form is also quite similar. The only difference is that additional information request is used to request for any kind of information, whereas other requests and responses can be related to any other request, like extension of due date or deadline or whatever. So our next tab is the document uploads tab. So this tab is quite self-explanatory, and I've used the same entity and subgrid here that I had used in my requests and responses form for the document upload section. So I'm not going to go into detail, as this is the same form and subgrid, and it has already been explained in the requests and responses tab.